All right, welcome everybody to another Wednesday Product Spotlight. My name is Dave Cooper, davecooper.live. What are the top 5 questions people are asking about hemp building materials? Will you be using hemp-based building materials in a future build? Seriously? Yes? No way? Sustainability? Yes, please. Today on the show, we're going to have our special co-host today, Mandy Kerr, CEO and founder of the Global Hemp Association, a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating global economic sustainability through industrial hemp. And our special guest today, Mead, an adventure-seeking entrepreneur who has a passion for re-envisioning the building materials used in construction and beyond. In 2016, he was a TEDx speaker on the topic of building a better world. TEDx, all these overachievers we have on the show. I love it. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. At davecooper.live, we are bringing you the people and the processes that are building it better. Our guests and topics include experts in building systems, the building science, building codes, and the tech used to build it better. We are seeking out the best and the brightest in construction and discovering all of the ways that innovative buildings come to life. And we cannot do this without our wonderful sponsors. So thank you to Forward Solutions Group, Ben Hershey and Joe Butler. They are a team with more than 175 years of experience developing and specifying manufacturing for panelized, volumetric, modular industries with best practices in development and implementation. They offer consulting with investors, developers, manufacturers, builders, and using offsite manufacturing methods. And they are the best, I can promise you that. Forward Solutions is driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Please reach out to Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. And also Howick. Howick is a pioneer in the technology of precision light steel roll forming machines. For over 40 years, their cold form steel, also known as light gauge steel, precision manufacturing, uncompromising quality, and exemplary customer service have defined the Howick way. Their commitment underpins the competitive advantage enjoyed by their customers. To learn more, visit their website, howickltd.com. So thank you very much, Howick. Thank you very much, Forward Solution. So without further ado, let's bring in our special guest. We will start with Mandy Kerr, our co-host of today, head of the Global Hemp Association. Hey, Mandy, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to have you here. So, Mandy, we have been collaborating together, talking about, how do we showcase some of these awesome products that are out there? How do we bring these awesome products to the market? All of those fun things. And today is no different. You have set us up with a great person to bring on the show. You want to do the introduction for Mead?
Sure. Mead with Hempitecture. I don't know. I don't have his other info. You did a great intro for him.
What is happening, Maddie? How are you?
Hey, everybody. So great to be here today. Dave, Mandy, great to see you guys again. Really excited to be on the show today.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you on the show today. Thank you for taking the time to join us. I know you're busy out there. I mean, with, being a TED talker and all these other claims to fame that you seem to have. Maddie, listen, before we hop into this, we have one question for you, and that is, we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or Mandy will call your mother. And I can tell you what, she will, and then we're going to bring her on the show, and that's it. It's all over for you. All your secrets are going to be out of the box, but you only have 2 minutes to do it, so have at it.
My mom's my biggest fan, so she probably has a lot to say about me. Mostly all good. Some we'll gloss over a little bit. But hey, everybody. Yeah, my name is Matthew Mead. I go by Maddie. You can find me on LinkedIn as Maddie Mead. I am from Morristown, New Jersey, grew up in northern New Jersey, and now I call beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho home. If you had asked me 10 years ago if I would live in Sun Valley, Idaho, I probably would have said, I don't know where Idaho is, but really fortunate to have our business based here, to be growing here, bringing new employees here, because we have Sun Valley Ski Resort right in our backyard. So when I am not working and helping manufacture and deliver building projects using more sustainable bio-based building materials, you can probably catch me out on the slopes in the wintertime or in the summertime out on the trails. Love to exercise and just utilize this beautiful backyard that we have here in Ketchum, Idaho. So again, great to be here with y'all today.
Yeah, well, it's awesome to have you. All right, before we hop into what Hempitecture is, Mandy, why don't you give us your little quick elevator speech for what the head of the Global Hemp Association does for us?
Oh, my focus is to create platform and give a voice to people exactly like Maddie who are doing incredible things, building the hemp industry, but really with the focus around construction and building materials, plastics, fiber, grain, the textile industry. We do a number of events and really focusing on building both employees and businesses and connecting the supply chain. So yeah.
Love it. Connecting the supply chain, which has been a mess for most of the building industry as of late. So hopefully we'll get some resolution to that here in the near future. All right, Maddie, let's get into this. I mean, you've been in the building industry for how long now?
Oh my gosh. Well, I went to school for architecture.
Not that old, man.
Oh, I know. I guess public disclosure. I'm 30 years old, so I am getting up there, Dave. I'm climbing up there. But I've been in the building industry since probably about 2012, after I graduated college when I was studying architecture. Yeah. And I really did realize there's quite a disconnect between the world of architecture and the world of building things.
Perfect. Why hemp building material? Why? I mean, what made you wake up and say, you know what? I'm going to take hemp. I'm gonna put it through a process. I'm gonna build something what Hempitecture makes. And why don't you get into that? But I first want to understand the why. Why hemp? Like, who wakes up and just says, I'm gonna build something out of hemp?
It wasn't exactly just like a moment of waking up, but it was this process of realizing that, hey, the building industry has got some significant problems. As a undergraduate student studying architecture and being fortunate enough to go to a liberal arts school where I kind of got to get my hands in multiple different subjects, another subject of which was environmental sciences, I began to realize we really do impose the built environment on our natural world. And we often don't really think about the negative impact that that built environment and the imposition of that built environment has on our natural world. So when I was an undergraduate student studying architecture, wide-eyed, optimistic, whole world in front of me, I became alarmed with the statistic that buildings and their operations are responsible for about 40% of our energy consumption and 40% of our carbon footprint. So when I was researching that and understanding that more, I decided my senior year to take on a thesis project. That was kind of one of the tasks that we had at the school that I went to. And so within this senior project, I evaluated different natural building materials because my thought was, hey, what did people do before we invented these new modern methods of building materials and construction techniques? What were people doing 100 years ago, 200 years ago? What were the materials that they were using? So my research really took me from the American Southwest, looking at things like rammed earth and adobe, to the Northeast, looking at cob, and then overseas wattle and daub, which basically is like clay and straw, infilled into a wood timber frame. And when I was doing all this research and became more aware of the different building materials that were out there, I found out about hemp as a building material primarily being used in France. So let's preface this whole conversation today with what I am talking about and will be talking about is really new here in the United States, but there is a track record of success for these building materials used across the world. We don't really need to reinvent the wheel. We need to bring the wheel to the United States. And that's what we're doing. So in this research process, found out about hemp-based building materials and was totally enamored with the idea of using hemp. And Dave, to get to your question, why hemp? Why this material? There's a few reasons. First of which is industrial hemp is rapidly renewable. With that rapidly renewable material, it means that it can grow in a 3 to 4 month cycle. And in some locations, it can grow 2 to 3 harvest cycles per year, depending on your climate. So when we use a rapidly renewable material, versus a material like wood, which I'm not a wood hater. I believe in the benefits of wood, so that's a different conversation. But wood takes at least 24 to 28 years before we can harvest it and turn it into a building material. So when we're talking about a rapidly renewable feedstock like industrial hemp, we can produce a lot of biomass rapidly, multiple times a year. We can harvest that and we can turn it into different, more valuable building materials. So as we get further into our conversation, I'll explain more about the building materials that we work with. But that's really the story, Dave. That's how I got involved in this. And that light bulb moment, though, did occur when I found out about all these French hempcrete buildings. And I said, wow, we have to bring this to the United States.
Sure. So, all right. So architecture school, I want to touch on this. When you started learning about, alternative building products, what's going on with the environment, how do you use alternative building products like hemp in the building industry? I mean, that crossed your mind. As a group of younger people in college studying this, is that on a lot of people's minds? And I mean, is this something that was kind of an eye opener for a lot of people, especially in your age group?
Dave, when I graduated in 2012, I think people thought that I was a little bit out of my mind. I presented this concept at business plan contests, and that was the original concept of Hempitecture. That was really a product concept. And people said, you're trying to build houses out of a Schedule I substance. I mean, you are out of your mind. And my thought was, hey, this is going to be legal in 5 years. And sure enough, in 2018, the Farm Bill did legalize industrial hemp. But at that time, it was really new. I think there were fewer than 5 hempcrete buildings in the United States. Fast forward to today, there are universities that are sponsoring healthy materials programs. There are universities that are encouraging students to look at carbon neutral, carbon negative feedstocks, just like I was thinking about in 2012. They're encouraging that today. So I think it's catching on, and we're seeing a lot of interest from young people in who are in college or graduating university, and even not those who went to trade schools, because hey, that's super important, and we need more people in the trades. So I think we're almost helping revive a more younger interest in the construction industry, whereas the construction industry's got a problem of a lot of our talent and skills and the people that have really been the leaders and the thought leaders are starting to move out of the construction industry. So we need fresh energy and young people to come in.
Well, we definitely need fresher minds, newer minds. And Mandy, you're seeing quite a bit of this, and especially in the hemp industry for sure. But not just in construction, you're seeing hemp play a role in a lot of different industries across the globe. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, the lawnmower is just right outside my window. So if you can't hear me, I really apologize. But yeah, textiles, the plastics, I think are a great place that we're seeing a big substitute from our polymers.
Right.
And then of course the agriculture in itself and the benefit there.
Well, right. There is that as well. And Maddie, we're going to talk on the growth structure of hemp. We hit on it on our last show as well, Mandy, 3 to 4 times as fast, as wood-based product. And just so everybody knows, Maddie is not a wood hater. He's a wood lover. We should save more trees and grow more hemp is what I'm hearing. Save more trees, grow more hemp. Is that the way it goes? All right, listen, everybody. We are a lot. That's a new T-shirt. Save more trees, grow more hemp. I want 10% royalties on anything you sell, Maddie.
You might need to trademark that, Dave.
I might, right? That's a pretty good one. Sometimes it just comes from nowhere. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Maddie, do you know why we go live on Twitch?
Tell me why, Dave.
Well, that's where the young folks are. We need more young minds in this industry. They're playing games, Fortnite, I don't know what other games are on there, but there's a ton. They even drive trucks on there. And if you haven't seen it, it's amazing watching what these young people do. The reality of it is, though, they have been living in BIM, digital twins, virtual worlds, using technology long before the building industry has even thought about it. We're just now seeing this technology come into our industry in a big way to where it's open to the masses, and we need more young minds that can do that. And I'm thinking those young minds could also help us find a way to turn products into hemp building products easier, faster, more cost effective, because right now it's a pretty in-depth process, right?
That's right.
So All right, Maddie, what is it that you do? What is your product? Let's get into the product of Maddie Mead.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump in. So at Hempitecture, we like to say that we specialize in what we believe and know are the most sustainable building materials on the planet. We really have specialized in thermal insulation, although when I talk about our product roadmap, I'll talk about how we're going to be expanding outside of just thermal insulation. And I think to phrase and kind of frame this conversation a little bit better, we'll talk about where we came from, so then we can understand where we're going and why we're going there. So when I started Hempitecture in 2011, 2012, as I said before, a wide-eyed, optimistic young college student, we started out with a focus on hempcrete, or hemp lime as it's referred to. Now, I'm going to explain more about what hempcrete is, but it's important for all the viewers out there to understand that hempcrete is a system. It is not a product. It is a way of approaching a building. Just like when you use straw bales, that is a way of approaching building. No one frames out a building with 2x4s, puts plywood on it, and then wraps it with Tyvek and says, I think I'm going to insulate my building with straw bale. It just doesn't happen like that. So when I started out Hempitecture, we really began with a focus on hempcrete building blocks. Hempcrete building blocks are basically taking this material, which is a combination of the wooden core of the industrial hemp stalk, a very specialized blend of limestone and water. You mix them together in a very specific proportion and ratio. And what happens, to be honest, is nothing short of magical. A calcification reaction occurs, which basically seeks carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and stores carbon dioxide into the material itself. So I've got a little sample of hempcrete over here. You can see it's got a very lightweight, sort of airy composite structure. It is bonded together through that process of calcification. And when it does that, it solidifies into a long-lasting building material that's also fireproof, insulating, and it also is superseding the use of a number of building materials within the assembly of a home. So your drywall, your insulation, your sheathing, it's lime plastered on either side, and that is what creates hempcrete.
Yeah, hold that up. I'm going to blow that up. So I'm going to show everybody. Put it up. There you go. All right. Cheers to Maddie for having a great camera on site. All right, so that's what it looks like. So it's hempcrete is a system then. I mean, would you consider it a part of a building system or a component of a building system that processed and built?
Well, first off, Dave, brought out the best cameras for you today. Polished myself up to look all good for you and your viewers. So hempcrete is an approach to building. You really have to consider hempcrete from the earliest phase of your project. So when you're working with your architect, they need to understand that, hey, we're not talking about a 2x4 or 2x6 wall assembly. We're talking about a thermal mass wall assembly that's 10, 12 inches thick. It is installed currently, and really the most common application method is called cast in place. Cast in place involves putting form boards up. Think of concrete. Think of how you have to install form boards, and on center to your concrete wall, you have rebar. That rebar gives concrete the structure to graft onto. Hempcrete's the same, except we're going to cast and infill, or cast in place, hemp and lime around a structural 2x4 frame for a wall that's much deeper. And so with this early focus of hempcrete and understanding that, hey, everyone that I've talked to about hempcrete says this is an incredible strategy, a lot of benefits, a lot of value to this approach, but it's labor intensive, it's timely, it's costly as a result. And that is why Hempitecture started out with a focus on hempcrete building blocks. The idea was, hey, let's take this form, meaning this building material, and put it into a form that's nominal. Anyone can work with building blocks, right? You can hire a mason who stacks CMUs, and they could take a hempcrete block and stack it and stack it and stack it and create a structure that's going to be super insulating, really healthy, non-toxic, yet also cost effective. So some of these challenges, Dave, are why we have pivoted away from hempcrete, or I shouldn't say pivoted away from hempcrete. We still do a ton of work with hempcrete, but we've expanded our focus, expanded our scope onto a new product.
So let me ask you this. So first of all, Mandy, I am volunteering you to go out in the field and block build with Hempcrete so we can get video of you putting this together, right? Because it looks like it's an easy process. Clearly, the way you're holding it up, it's not a heavy product, so it's a lot more manageable. It's safer to work with. All right, so all those things are coming together. So with your product there, how is that secured? Like the structural integrity comes from the rebar, comes from the stud walls. Is that how I'm understanding it?
You're nailing it there, Dave. It is a non-structural, non-load-bearing material. So you would have a structural frame. We just did a really cool building project in Bozeman, Montana, where they framed out their house, conventionally. They infilled their studs with our hemp insulation that I'll talk about a little bit more later in our conversation. And then they took Hempcrete building blocks, which, of course, this is a small-scale micro sample. The building blocks will be much larger. And they actually clipped them back to the frame using metal connector pieces. So in a project that if this was cast in place, for instance, pouring into the form boards and literally tamping it in place, it would have taken 2 to 3 months. It took this project about 2 weeks to install all the Hempcrete.
2 weeks to install all of it. And how big of a project was it, square foot wise?
Pretty decent sized house, probably about 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. On average, I think a 10-foot high wall with some gable roofs. I
just left Bozeman last week. You mean I could have been over there checking it out for you? Little Dave Cooper live inspection process going on. So outstanding.
All right, we'll get you back out there.
Testing wise on all these things, and Mandy, we've talked about this as well. Right, fire tests. In France, it's used a lot already, this type of product. The longevity of that product, when I think of hemp and I think of materials in general, right? You got we think of grass, and hay and all these other insulation materials that people have put together. I mean, over time, is there longevity to it? It's been tested. How long has it been being used? And how does it withstand, the length of time?
That's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked, because I think that is one of the more compelling reasons to considering hempcrete as a building material. While it has been used predominantly in France, there's evidence of hempcrete buildings across the world. One of which was from Japan, built in I want to say 1450 to 1500. That's still standing. It's a temple. There is a UNESCO World Heritage Site in India called the Ellora Caves, and you can totally fact check me on this, where they have hemp and lime in their walls, and that is totally preserved. And I can't even put a date out there, but with it being a World Heritage Site, it's old. Right, older than most buildings that we have here in the United States. In France, there's also lots of instances of farmhouses and buildings that have been renovated or built with hempcrete that are long lasting. Interestingly, the limestone over time continues to absorb carbon dioxide, and it gets harder and firmer. Really, think of the limestone as the glue that is holding together the wood core or the hemp hurd, meaning that inner wooden stalk of the hemp plant itself. And that wooden stalk is going away from what starts out as just a cellulosic aggregate to really becoming much more inert, like a stone, through that calcification and solidification process.
I don't know what to say. I love it. I love it. So behind you, I see there's a structure with the hempcrete, or is that hemp wool? What's in that structure behind you that you're kind of hiding over your left shoulder, I think?
There we go.
I was just going to point out the other artwork that explains
on the wall?
The woody core. Yeah, on the wall.
There,
so
down there.
One, the inner circle is the herd he's talking about. That's a piece of hemp cut.
Back over your right shoulder or your left shoulder?
We're mirrored here, so whichever is over here, Dave.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, that's a stylized representation of a cross section of the industrial hemp stalk.
Okay.
I actually, when I was an undergraduate student, minored in studio art. So this was a 20-color screen print that I made as a student. Very single track minded. Once I, got the hemp bug, my art became about it, my research became about it, my architecture became about it. But yeah, on the inner circles there, you can see that is the wooden core that makes up the biomass. And then on the exterior of the stalk itself, there is the long fiber that basically is like the jacket of the hemp stalk itself. Those plant parts are stripped away and turned into the inner core, turned into hempcrete, and then the outer long fiber is turned into our hemp wool insulation.
All right, let's see that fine camera of yours. Yeah, all right. Very cool. So here's another question on this, and sorry, I just love jumping into this. What about insects? Do insects like hemp?
Yeah, really good question. So let me kind of parse that out into two responses, because now we're kind of bringing two products to the table here. The general answer for both products is no. They do not like hemp building materials, which is a huge benefit, particularly on the hempcrete side of things. They will not eat it because it is a calcified, inert material that almost is like eating a stone. Hemp wool, on the other hand, the fiber itself is rich in silica, which makes it very unattractive for pests or anything to chew it or get inside of it. And then also, one of the big advantages of hemp wool is that because it is a pressure fit system, because it is a material that fills up the depth of your stud. So for instance, from here to here is 3.5 inches. Well, that is going to fill the stud entirely and make it really difficult for anything to move around your cavity. Compare that to fiberglass, which is really kind of like cotton candy. It's lightweight, it's wispy. It creates a highway for rodents and things to get inside and move about your cavity.
For sure. And what about the sound qualities, the sound audible, how is it with that? Yeah,
so both materials are sound reducing materials. They absorb decibels, reduce reverberation within a structure itself. We actually had a general contractor who used hemp wool in a building project of ours or of theirs. They used our product, this natural fiber hemp insulation. And it was kind of an open floor plan house, but they had a master bedroom upstairs that was kind of in the top corner of the house. So in the open floor plan down below, they were installing, slate tile, and they had a big, stone cutting saw. He called me, as they were installing this, and he was like, I'm upstairs in the master bedroom, and we've got hemp wool installed, and I can barely hear this saw downstairs that used to make a screeching, terrible noise that would drive everybody crazy off the job site. And this material has absorbed the sound. I've never seen anything like it in my 30 years of construction.
I think, that alone's a big factor, especially when you're comparing it to like the old flash and bat or fiberglass insulation. Why do you call it hemp wool?
Yeah,
is there a reason?
There's a couple reasons, and I'll get into those. One of our goals at Hempitecture is to get sustainable bio-based, plant-based materials into as many homes as possible. We want to take away from the market share of the incumbent competitors, and some of those incumbent competitors are fiberglass, spray foam, and mineral wool or rock wool. So our name was somewhat inspired by perhaps our competition, and creating a an analogy, if you will, or a relationship between those other products, that instead of rocks, which have a huge embodied energy to turn into fibers, we are getting our fibers from industrial hemp. The other reason is that there is this very soft feeling to it. As you notice, I am not wearing any gloves. I can put this right against my face, and I will still have a good rest of my day. I dare you. Actually, I don't dare you to do this with fiberglass or rock wool, because you will be really hurting for the rest of your day. But this material is so lightweight and soft and yet also durable that we felt that the name wool also conjures up that idea of a soft, natural material.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, don't go rolling around in fiberglass material, please. And if you do, don't tell me about it.
Disclaimer.
Maddie, we were having such a great show. That's horrible advice. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, all right. So I'm going to unpack a couple things there, and then we're going to probably go and just say hello to a few people and get the comments rocking and rolling here. So if you do have a question, put a Q in front of it. I do see some out there that are coming in. I am seeing that some people are saying we have some lag. So hopefully all those questions are getting through. But here's the thing. You mentioned rock wool. You mentioned bat fiberglass insulation, right? But rock wool is particularly used in, one, for a sound barrier, two, for a fire barrier. Can the hemp, wool also be used as a fire barrier? Does it have that testing? Maybe not here in the States yet, but does it have it as a testing elsewhere? And that is a future potential here as well.
Yeah, really great question, Dave. We are in the process right now of building out the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in southern Idaho to manufacture hemp wool here in the United States. When we have that manufacturing facility up and running, that will be producing the product that you see here. We will be having value-added benefits to hemp wool that are not currently available in the product as it stands now, one of which would be increased fire resistance. We are working with University of Idaho through a Idaho Global Entrepreneurial Mission grant, which granted us $206,000 to research how we can treat this product to make it more high performing, increase the sound absorption, increase the fire resistance, while also working with the Department of Energy. My business partner, Tommy, is going to be representing Hempitecture at a fellowship with the Department of Energy at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory that will also help us value add and value engineer this product to exceed, meet, and outperform all the standards that are out there. So we've recognized, hey, we got to introduce this to the market. It can only get better from here.
Yeah, it can only get better is absolutely right. I mean, it has to go somewhere, especially with the supply chain. We can't keep doing things the way we've been doing it. That's what makes it so interesting to myself. Mandy, what is holding back hemp in the industry? And I know, Maddie, you probably have your opinion on this, but I want to ask Mandy, what's holding us back, Mandy? Why are we not seeing more of these products out there coming to market much quicker?
I think we're running into the chicken and egg when even once we get the processing facilities coming in, then we have to convince our farmers to be able to grow the number of acres to fulfill the need. And so it's once we get processing facilities in, just like Maddie is building, now we can start advocating for farmers to grow and vice versa. Maddie, what's your opinion?
Yeah, no, Mandy, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think that there is definitely this order of operations that needs to be kind of flushed out a little bit. For a farmer to grow hemp and make money off of it, it has to go to an end customer. That end customer needs the material in a certain specification. So to get it to that certain specification, there has to be processing. We haven't really had processors here in the United States online that have been, fully at a commercial scale, that have been able to produce the natural materials that are needed for these natural products. 5 years ago, we wouldn't have been having this conversation today about our manufacturing facility in southern Idaho. The only reason that we're able to create this manufacturing facility is because there is a supply chain that is developing in tandem with our business through other businesses who are not vertically integrated with Hempitecture that we're going to be able to support. We're going to be able to buy their raw materials. We're going to be able to pay them, and they can subsequently pay the farmers. So then the farmers have money in their pocket to then go back next season and do it all over again. So I think we're kind of we're at the tip of the iceberg here. And I think we're going to start to see a lot more products and availability of material come online in this new and emerging industry.
For sure. Financing, funding, money. Takes money to make money, right? That's what they say out there. So distribution. So investors, let's talk about that for a minute. And this is a question for both Mandy and Maddie. Are investors willing and able to fund the growth of this product, not only from the research that has to happen, DOE's involved, like I heard you say, and others, but what about the processing, the manufacturing, and the supplying, the shipping, all of those things? Are you seeing the market open up to these new investors? Are they willing to bring it to market? Maddie, go first.
Yeah, so I'm excited to say that, recently we launched a regulation crowdfunding campaign. That regulation crowdfunding campaign was a small portion of our overall fundraising effort. So we were intending to raise $2.5 million via this new SEC approved vehicle that allows people like yourself to invest and share in the potential upside or the risk of Hempitecture. With the launch of that campaign and our goal of 2.5 million, we have exceeded that goal to 3.3 million. So I do think that there is a market appetite out there for investing in natural bio-based building materials. Now, with that being said, we put in a lot of work into the Reg CF. It's not like we just put it up online one day and we got that money. I mean, we've been on the phone, talking to investors, sharing what our business plan is, getting people excited. But we've seen that investment come in, and we're really excited to utilize that towards our facility. We're now even having banks be more supportive and more understanding, whereas 5 years ago, I could not get a bank account with anyone unless, I worked with a local bank and really explained to them what it is that we're doing. So we're seeing a lot of change here in the industry, particularly as it relates to the financial mechanisms surrounding it.
Mandy, you second that, or you want to add to that?
Absolutely. Well, and I think that you had a good example of the way at which we're seeing money come in, right? There's been such a scare to the hemp industry around the cannabinoid side. And so seeing large amounts of money come in that are needed in order to build processing facilities has been less, actually, it's still coming in. But Maddie, you had great success in being able to pull multiple people together to fund your project or a project. And lots of people were eager to put small amounts in, dipping our toes back into the hemp industry after we've, a lot of people have been taken by this gold rush or this green rush.
Absolutely.
But yes.
Is it a gold rush?
Lots of money is definitely starting to roll in. I think that we're opening up, and the pandemic has fed a lot to the need to reshore manufacturing and bring it within our borders and our communities, and the capability to do that with hemp.
Right. I would say that the time is now, Mandy, to re-onshore the manufacturing of not just hemp-based products, but lots of different products. As you just pointed out, the pandemic really highlighted a lot of vulnerabilities within our supply chains. David mentioned at the beginning of the call or in a conversation that we were having in the past, just about the rise and the spike in building material costs. I mean, they were like absolutely through the roof. I think, one thing that's going to be important for us in moving forward in really understanding industrial hemp and speaking about it, we need to silo out the different kinds of industrial hemp. I'm seeing articles now that says, the hemp gold rush is over or the hemp industry has gone bust. Well, there are multiple varieties of industrial hemp, and those articles are specifically speaking to cannabinoid producing varieties, CBD producing varieties, yes. THC producing or low THC producing varieties. We really need to begin to silo out these different segments, because the same plant that produces CBD or low that produces CBD or cannabinoids is going to be a different plant than we are seeking for our building materials. So that is where the rush was to that cannabinoid producing material that Mandy was speaking to. And we really need to, understand that there's a difference here. And the material that we need for our building products is grown like corn. Large scale acreage, row style cropping, not grown like cannabis is today. It's not there is this one plant mentality out there. I think we need to, understand that there's lots of different subsections of it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, wonderful. All right, let's take a moment and just say hi to a couple folks. Let's get some questions and comments going here, and let's keep driving on. When we come back, let's dive into that industrial hemp comment you made and the different types of plants and how it is grown, so people understand that. And then I want to talk about the bringing it to market, the codes, How do you get the approvals? What are you doing to get approvals? Do you have approvals? ... Right? Let's figure it out. And then we're going to wrap up to who is using your product outside of the Bozeman project that's out there. And where do you see your growth coming? Does that sound like a good game plan? We can do that all in about 15 minutes.
Sounds great.
I love it. All right, here we go. Let's rock and roll into some comments and questions here. All right, Jeff Connolly, are you working with bamboo in combination with hemp materials in construction? There are very old bamboo temples still standing.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks for the great question. I have not worked a ton with bamboo, although I built 2 houses that have bamboo floors in them, and they are certainly beautiful. Haven't gotten too much into bamboo structural lumber replacements. There are some cool companies out there that are doing some things. I heard of a company recently called Rhizome that is working to mainstream bamboo engineered lumber. But again, another rapidly renewable resource that I think has a lot of potential.
Great. All right. Gothan Rajasha. I hope I said that right. I don't know. If I didn't, just you can tear me up in the comments. I apologize. I'm trying my best. Gothan, I'm just going to go with that. How beneficial would it be in tropical climates? Great question.
So let me kind of break that up into 2 parts, both hempwool and hempcrete. Hempcrete would be really beneficial in a tropical climate. You'd have that thick thermal mass wall that is also vapor and moisture regulating. So really humid outside, drier inside, it will self-regulate and without the presence of any vapor barriers. Hempcrete itself is a vapor mitigating system. On the other hand, hempwool, for hempwool to be used in a really, I'd say, tropical or subtropical climate, you'd want to have vapor retarding layers, both on the exterior of your assembly, but also perhaps on the interior of your assembly. There's a new product line out there called Intello membranes, and those smart membranes really help control airflow through an assembly and not only lend to more energy efficiency, but a more comfortable indoor air environment. Hempwool itself is a vapor permeable material as well, and it can absorb some moisture before losing its R value. Compare that to fiberglass. The second fiberglass is exposed to high humidity, its R value is cut in half because the glass fibers themselves have no potential of holding on to that moisture while still keeping your home cool or warm. I often use an analogy of, for me, I'm a snowboarder, so I think of this. And in the winter, I'm always wearing wool socks when I'm going out and snowboarding or skiing. Wool socks are able to get wet and hold on to moisture, yet still keep your feet warm. It's because those fibers themselves are able to hold on to that moisture. So a similar concept applies as it relates to hemp wool.
Perfect. All right, one more comment. Let's go to it here. Monty Chong Walden. It needs to have the full value chain built out from supply to demand for products, both growing, but it takes time. All right, Monty, thank you for that comment. Love it. Jeff Connolly. Cannabis is not established like other commodities, crops, and supply chains. This makes it a great market to build from the ground up, literally, implementing emerging technologies and strategies. Start with hemp. Love it. All right. Oh, Jennifer. Who in the heck is Jennifer? Matthew Mead. What do you have rolling in California? Oh, perhaps Dave and we can visit. Hey, we just rolled into California, Matthew. What do you got? What do you got happening here? Maybe we need to stop by and do a little Hempitecture research for you.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for the question, Jennifer. And I think I might know the relation there. Before I get to that, I just want to give Monty a shout out. Monty is also in the hemp industry. He's got a company called Calmira Natural Walls. They're doing really incredible work out there. I think he's located in British Columbia. Check out their website. Monty is a great guy doing really great things for the hemp building materials industry. In terms of what we have going on in California, gosh, we are getting so much interest in California for hempcrete building blocks. particularly in locations that have been affected by forest fires. Right now, I'm sitting in Idaho, and if I walk outside of my office, I'm looking at a gray, apocalyptic sky. Forest fires are a reality that we've faced for a long time, but we're seeing more of them kind of encroaching upon places that we live. And so hempcrete is a great strategy for mitigating that fire risk. Now, if you build a hempcrete house, you're not totally safe. I would never say you're going to be totally fine. But it is a fireproof building approach and strategy. And we've supplied a couple of building projects in California, particularly with hempcrete blocks, because they are so easy to use and implement. There's also some work happening in Southern California, more in the San Diego area, where I've seen a few hempcrete projects pop up. A company, Pass It Forward Construction, is doing some cool projects down there. So yeah, I think California is a place where a lot of interest is growing, and especially with hempcrete, it makes sense with that fire risk.
I was just thinking, because we've seen quite a few fires. There was one happening in Belfry in the mountain in Montana that we were just at, and 30 or 40 homes got destroyed. So without the hemp is going to burn without the processing, right? Because I was going to say, why don't we just build hemp fields around all these farmhouses out there, and that could be a fire block, no? Not gonna work.
Not quite. What really is required is that combination of the hemp and the lime to solidify to make a fireproof material.
Yeah, and with the fires that are happening out there, I mean, it's such an important topic. The fact that it doesn't burn, like a traditional fiberglass bed insulation is going to burn, or other materials out there. There's a real need for products like this, especially in California and Idaho and Montana, and areas where you do have these big brush fires and mountain fires that do happen. I mean, it's every year. It's not like it doesn't happen. It's all over the place. This is something I could see being implemented into building codes, that they have to use products like yours to actually protect their home.
Yeah, the building code situation is developing, and I'd still say it's really early. Hempitecture a couple years ago, about 2 years ago, we did an ASTM E84 test, which tests the flammability of a certain material. That E84 test on hempcrete came out to be 0 out of 450, meaning no smoke developed, no burning. In fact, the testing laboratory, Intertech, sent me a message afterwards, and they said, this is really unique to score a 0 on this. The only other products that we've seen score 0 are concrete and rock wool. So definitely, something we need to develop more codes, more standards around utilizing hempcrete, but we're just not there yet. With our work with the University of Idaho through our research program, and then the Department of Energy relationship we've since developed, we will be working towards standardization. How can we help entrench this? If not, in the mainstream right away, but as an option, because right now it's not even an option. Dave, if you wanted to go to your building inspector in your local town and said, hey, I want to build a hempcrete house, he would probably first off say, what on earth is hempcrete? Second off, I need data, I need research, I need information to understand why this is valuable, why I should allow this to be permitted, because at the end of the day, it's on his shoulders to give you the permission to basically build that. So we've got a long way to go to really bring this product and products and these approaches into the mainstream, but the work is happening. People are building the foundation. It's not just companies like Hempitecture that are building this foundation. There's a lot of people out there that are doing really good work in this area. So,
well, I mean, look what Mandy and her association is doing, right? I mean, this is what they're out there doing. They're networking, they're connecting people. They're trying to bring associations together so you can grow the hemp industry. And part of that is the introductions to people in the building codes area and, in different industries that can help you achieve what you want to achieve. So, I think that's kudos to you, Mandy. I mean, it's a tall task what you do.
Well, thanks. I think that you nailed something earlier, is the standards piece, right? Is definitely, when we talk about this hold up and getting the product to the market, standards are definitely a hold up for sure. Yeah, it's
sure. You know what? There's people out there helping to make that happen. All right, this Monty guy's back again. Maybe he's a competitor, huh? Monty, what are you doing? No, I'm just kidding. Monty says, how long before you think you will break ground for the processing facility in Idaho? Hey, great question. We'd love to come see that.
Yeah, so let me share a little bit more about what we've got going on there. We have already been scraping the ground. We are going to be occupying a 100,000 square foot building, which will be demised into different units. We are working with the developer to occupy a portion of that. So fortunately for us, while we are, yes, building out a manufacturing facility, we are putting all the equipment inside of it. We are working with a developer and a general contractor that's local to the area to create that facility. I'm super excited, Monty, and I'll let everyone else know because tomorrow I'm going down to the location to actually check on the progress. They're starting to excavate for the footings. And this building is going to be a core shell tilt-up style building that kind of is going to look like an Amazon fulfillment center. It's going to be a massive building. And we're really, really excited to have our home located in this really new state-of-the-art facility.
Outstanding. Perfect. Looking forward to seeing it. Next question, comment. What do we have? Bam, Gouthan. All right. I'm not even trying your last name, but I'm going to apologize for it. My grandmother's house was built with pure sea. It's supposed to say lime, sea lime, and it still stands strong with no cracks or paint jobs. How eco-friendly is this hydraulic lime? Like hydraulic? Yes. Did I get that right? I did.
Hydraulic lime, yes, sir.
Yep.
Hey, Gotham. Thanks again for another really good question. I love hearing things like this because I think it speaks to the resiliency and durability of lime over time. If we go back to antiquity and we look at Roman structures, why is Roman concrete still standing? Well, they used a few secret ingredients. And why is it when we're driving under a highway overpass in the United States, we're worried about the concrete falling off and cracking our windshield on our car? Well, they had a really good understanding of how lime is used and how pozzolans are used. Pozzolans are from the town Pozzola in Italy, or that's what it's named after. And usually pozzolans are something that helps speed up the reaction of limestone. So we are using usually hydrated lime, Gotham, in our projects, high calcium hydrated lime that is paired with a pozzolan. That pozzolan helps speed up the reaction of the limestone, and it is super long lasting. I mean, go to Rome, you can still see Roman concrete still standing. To your question of the sustainability of this product, let's think about the big picture here. It is not going to be long-term sustainable for us to be importing lime that is mined in another country. And, to be honest, we've done that for years because that is where these products have been formulated. So we imported limestone from France that was already designed and formulated for Hempcrete or hemp lime building projects. Well, really excited to announce that we're actually working now with a Southern Idaho company that is milling lime with a very specific pozzolan. The company that we're partnered with is Limestrong. They make lime finishes and lime plaster products. We are working on a hemp binder with Limestrong. So we're really excited about that. That is going to increase the environmental friendliness of it because instead of importing from France, we're now getting it from Southern Idaho. We're going from international to not just regional, but within our state. That's the direction we need to go.
Sure, and that's going to help the supply chain, bring down your costs and all the above, right? So they say. All right, last comment, Greg Ugaldi, the immediate past chairman of NAHB. Maddie, if you don't know who Greg is, he's the guy all the way at the top of the NAHB, updates the president a couple times a year and does some other fantastic things for us in our industry. So, Greg, always a pleasure when you jump in and say hello. And you can see all the cool kids come to us live from Twitch. Greg is on Twitch. So appreciate you, Greg. All right. Listen, we are down to a couple. We got a couple more minutes here, Maddie. I know I had a bunch of ideas on where we're going to go. So let's get through some of this stuff here. One is let's talk about industrialized hemp and what that truly means, especially from the agricultural side of how it's grown. Can you just define that for us quickly?
Yeah, so first off, let me just say, not an expert on the agricultural side of things, but generally industrial hemp is defined as 0.3% THC or less, and fiber variety, industrial hemp is grown on large-scale acreage similar to corn or another row-style crop.
You know what, Maddie, you can come on the show anytime. Let's go through it quick. And what does Maddie do, man? He just defines it in. No wonder you're a TEDxer, man. That's awesome. All right. So also, Maddie, you know, where are we headed, you know, with hemp? What's next for you guys?
Yeah, so what's next for us is really exciting, and we're feeling really optimistic about the trajectory that Hempitecture is on. We are in the process right now of completing the construction with our development partner on our manufacturing facility. We will be purchasing equipment for manufacturing of hemp insulation, particularly hemp wool insulation. And really that is the tip of the iceberg in terms of our product roadmap. You can see hemp wool on our website, but we have a lot of other things going on in the background. We'll be developing and originating new products with our Department of Energy partnership with Oak Ridge National Laboratory. And actually, this is top secret for your viewers. And we've had such a great conversation today, Dave, that I figured I'll share this with y'all. But tomorrow I'm actually on the road and heading to meet with a building block partner, someone who owns a building block facility, and we are looking at retrofitting their building block facility to be able to produce hempcrete building blocks. So you're not going to see that on our website about, you know, us manufacturing these blocks, but that is happening in the background as well while we're shoring up the manufacturing process for hemp wool insulation in our facility in Jerome, Idaho. At this time next year, you know, if you want to come to Idaho and get a tour of the facility, reach out. We'd be happy to show you around. We've got some really sophisticated technology that we're bringing over from a partner in Italy to create and develop the future of bio-based building products here in the United States.
I mean, we might as well just end the show. What do you think, Mandy? I mean, can I say anything more to that? I mean,
mic drop.
Mic drop. Yeah, right.
That was pretty good.
If I had a microphone, I would drop it, but I don't. So
I have a question on what it means then for Hempitecture when you're able to bring your acreage back to the U.S. Because right now you said you're importing your fiber. Is that right?
Yep, that is correct. And actually, Mandy had an excellent conversation just yesterday or maybe even this morning with a really good friend of mine, Aaron Barr from Canadian Rockies Hemp. He's up there in Alberta. And let's go back to that idea real quick of thinking regionally. You know, we're going for our facility to have the throughput that we're imagining. We're going to need to leverage multiple partners, one of which is Aaron up there in Alberta, Canada. Another of which is IND Hemp in northern Montana, Fort Benton, Montana. IND Hemp is one of the first large-scale hemp processing companies that's coming online. And, you know, our first and foremost goal is to support and keep our dollars in the U.S. economy. And so we're going to be buying a lot of material from IND Hemp, but we have no problem with also supporting our friends north of the border because it's regional. For us, that's essentially still local. You know, we need to support regional. We need to, I like to think of it as the Rocky Mountain West. That's where we are. Alberta is the Rocky Mountain West. That's our region. We're going to be buying material from this region. But as we start to bring back this cultivation of this crop here in the United States, that's going to mean good things for our farmers. You'll hear me say that industrial hemp is a place to restore opportunity where opportunity has been missed. Industrial hemp is an opportunity for our farmers to really partake in this new industry. So we're really excited about that. We're really excited about the potential for not just giving new economic opportunity to farmers, but giving them a rotational crop, giving them something to restore value to their fields after years of monoculture of just, you know, sugar beets or potatoes or soybeans or whatever it is that they're growing, wheat. Industrial hemp is an opportunity for these folks to really improve their quality of life and then help businesses like ours manufacture the products of the future today.
Perfect. And that was a great question, Mandy. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, I am to remind you to check out the poll on our Dave Cooper Live page and ask people. Here she asked me. And make sure you follow us on Dave Cooper Live. We have set up a business page now, so that is up and functioning. Finally, we're a business. How about that? Who would have thought? So we're getting there. And if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go there and subscribe. We are well over 1,000 subscribers now, and we are growing fast. Our channel is being watched over 24 hours every day, nonstop. So we want to thank everybody that's contributed to that and contributed to our success. And also, be sure to join us Friday. We have a launch party with Green Building United. You want to be there on BS Friday. Building Science Friday, Building Systems Friday, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be talking about building. We're going to be talking about science. And we're going to be talking about systems. So you want to join us for that. Doesn't that sound like fun, Maddie?
Yeehaw. That sounds like a great time.
Well, there you go. There's a Midwest statement if I've ever heard one. All right, so we're going to end it there. Mandy, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We always appreciate what you bring, and we appreciate that you have taken the crux of the Hemp Association on your shoulders to drive something new and innovative forward. So that's a big shout out to you. Well done. Maddie, you keep driving, man. You keep doing it, and hopefully we'll see you in your new factory soon. Please keep us updated, join our show, and send us pictures. Got it?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Dave. Mandy, great to see you again. This was super fun. You can always find me on LinkedIn. Just search Maddie Mead. Happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks, everyone who tuned in today. Dave, this was a blast. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. We will see you Friday at 1 p.m. with Mark, Bare Naked Willie, and myself. Until then, have a wonderful time. Maddie, Mandy, stay tight. I'll come right back to you after the outro. Bye now.